From the hidden symbolism behind the Lady of Liberty to the most prestigious secret club at Disneyland, here are 10 amazing secrets of the Statue of Liberty and other American monuments. Number 10. The Statue of Liberty's secret meanings. It's time to learn the secrets of the Statue of Liberty. This is arguably the most famous monument in all the United States and probably one of the most misunderstood. First of all, the national icon of freedom opened for the public's viewing in 1886. Interestingly enough, within just 6 months of the statue opening, it was pretty much forgotten. Reports from the time say that there were almost no visitors to the island immediately after it opened, indicating that people pretty much lost interest in it right away. Of course, that changed with mass tourism, but back in the 1880s, Americans simply didn't care about a giant statue sitting on an island. But what about the symbolism of the Statue of Liberty? There are a lot of hidden meanings that people don't know about. For example, the chains at the Statue of Liberty's feet actually symbolize the ending of the Civil War. That's why the chains around her feet are broken, to represent the ending of slavery. Plus, there are 40 blank discs on the Statue of Liberty's pedestal, which represent a massive fundraising failure by the American states. There was a massive amount of trouble trying to raise sufficient money to build the Statue of Liberty. But when the statue was being built, there were massive medallions built on its base where states would be able to engrave their names after donating. However, because not a single state offered to pay any money to have the statue built, they didn't get to engrave their names on the discs, which to this day remain very blank. Number 9. The Statue of Liberty wasn't a gift. Perhaps one of the biggest myths surrounding the Statue of Liberty is that it was a gift from France. Go on, ask anyone where the Statue of Liberty came from and they'll probably tell you that France just handed it over as a nice present. But that's actually not true. The statue was designed by a French sculptor who had visited Egypt as a young man and was inspired to build a giant colossus. In fact, he wanted to have the colossus built in the Suez Canal, but was denied by the Egyptian government. And even though France was involved with its creation, the money to build it actually had to come from the American public. That's right, the American people paid out of their own pockets to have their very own icon of freedom built. But it wasn't easy. In 1884, the committee having the statue built ran out of funds. A man named Joseph Pulitzer actually had to use his influence in the newspaper business to try and urge Americans to donate money to help build the statue. He managed to raise over $100,000 within just 6 months, which ended up being just enough money to finally finish building the statue. Most of the donations were about $1 or less. But because at least 125,000 people contributed to the completion of the statue, it ended up being finished in the end and then shipped to America in pieces. Have you ever visited the Statue of Liberty? What did you think of it? Tell me your opinion in the comments below. Then remember to subscribe to American Eye if you haven't already for more incredible videos. Number 8. The Washington Monument. The Washington Monument is full of secrets. To the casual onlooker, all they see is a giant white marble obelisk. But for those in the know, the Washington Monument is a treasure trove of history and secret designs. For example, there's a secret access hatch near the top of the monument that daredevil repair workers use to rappel down the monument's face to do repairs and keep it clean. Additionally, the aluminum tip at the very top of the Washington Monument has actually been melted by repeated lightning strikes. As you can imagine, the Washington Monument makes a fantastic lightning rod. If you have a keen eye, you may also notice that the marble changes color about a third of the way up the tower. This is because construction of the monument started in 1848 and was funded by private donations. But after 6 years, the Washington Monument Society burned through their entire budget, and the obelisk construction was halted. A wooden cap was put on top of the monument, and it sat dormant for years. The project wasn't finally resumed until 20 years later in 1878. By then, the original marble was gone. The engineers had to find a similar match by contracting a different quarry. This is why the monument is 2 different colors. Number 7. The Empire State Building. The Empire State Building is another amazing American marvel of engineering. It's not the tallest building in the world any longer, but it's still an iconic landmark in New York City. According to CBS News, it also has a secret floor that almost no visitors have ever seen. The highest floor of the Empire State Building, which is actually the 103rd floor, is for VIP visitors only. It's a small viewing platform with almost no safety rails that gives even better views than the normal viewing platform on the 102nd floor. But wait, it goes even higher than that. If you find yourself on the 102nd floor, there's a secret door that leads to a staircase. If you follow this staircase up, you go past the 103rd floor and end up 104.5 stories up, at the very top of the building. This is not a viewing platform that someone with a fear of heights should ever visit. It's the true top of the structure at about 1,450 feet high. This is where the giant antenna is located at the top of the building, which was originally designed to be a mooring mast where giant airships could dock while visiting New York City. Of course, airships turned out not to be the vehicles of the future, and the secret location of the Empire State Building is now strictly off-limits. Number 6. Mount Rushmore's Secrets. Mount Rushmore is another fabulous location in America, but what a lot of people don't know is that there are quite a few secrets hidden behind the rock facades of the presidents. South Dakota's beloved memorial has a 60-foot, 18-meter profile of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt. Their faces are instantly recognizable. However, not everything is as it appears. For example, the initial plan was to carve the faces of Lewis and Clark, Buffalo Bill Cody, and Red Cloud, the Sioux chief, into the rock instead of the presidents. Of course, that never happened. Perhaps the biggest secret, though, is that behind the head of Abraham Lincoln is a secret chamber. A tunnel was blasted into the canyon and turned into a hall of records, completely off-limit to visitors. It contains a titanium vault with porcelain panels locked inside that outline the important milestones in U.S. history. Of course, these tables only go up to the 1920s, so any aliens that find the tablets in the future aren't going to see the whole story. And finally, you might be interested to know that there have been many attempts over the years to add a fifth face to the monument. Some people have tried to add Elvis Presley's face, and others have tried to add Ronald Reagan. Number 5. Disneyland's Club 33. Disneyland is supposed to be a place where families can go to enjoy the magic of Disney and all the amazing characters. You wouldn't expect there to be a secret and highly exclusive club located behind a closed door at Disneyland, but it's true. There absolutely is a secret society living inside Disneyland that most people don't have access to. The price of admission into the secret Disneyland Club is roughly the same as the entire household income of an average American family. This place is for the elite. And isn't that what Disney's all about? You can find Disneyland's Club 33 on Royal Street, hidden in plain sight amongst the shops at New Orleans Square. It's right around the corner from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It's the only exclusive restaurant in Disney, and the apparent waiting list is several years long. It's hard to say exactly what's going on behind that closed door, but apparently it's quite extravagant. According to Thrillist, Club 33 includes the best dinner you will ever have, the fanciest cocktails you'll ever drink, and a luxury window into the magical world of Disney. But what's really ironic is that even though Club 33 is the place to be in the world of Disney, you still have to leave through the gift shop. Number 4. Astronomy at the Hoover Dam. This next secret is going to blow your mind. Anyone who ever visits Hoover Dam is probably astounded by the size of the dam itself. It's a massive piece of human engineering and something that's hard to ignore. But there's something else quite interesting about the dam that's nothing to do with water. You might notice at the western flank of the Hoover Dam there's a strange monument that appears to be a man with wings holding his pointed wings up at the sky. It's a bronze sculpture and the central flagpole for Hoover Dam, and it's one of the most photographed parts of this amazing monument. But the secret is actually underneath the sculpture's feet. There's a secret celestial map on the floor of the plaza where the tourists stand to take photographs of the sculpture. The map marks the exact time of the creation of the dam, based on the 25,772-year axial precession of the Earth. If you have no idea what that means, don't worry, you're not alone. There's very little information on the creation of this strange astrological map or why it was created at all. The artist's name was Oscar J.W. Hansen, and he may have been a bit of a, well, kooky artist. For that matter, the Earth's axial precession is a fairly strange piece of astrology. It basically discusses how the North Star, which is the anchor in space used for all celestial navigation because it never changes its position throughout the night, does indeed change now and again. The Earth wobbles in a kind of circle every 25,772 years, and throughout that cycle, the North Star also changes, from Polaris to Vega to Deneb. What it has to do with the Hoover Dam is still an enormous mystery. Number 3. Lincoln's Cave. The Lincoln Memorial holds some secrets of its own. There have been countless myths surrounding the imposing monument of Abraham Lincoln, but almost none of them are true. What is true is that there's a large cave directly underneath the Lincoln Memorial. The cave is full of stalactites, dripping water, small insects, and maybe even a few rodents. The reason there's a giant cave located beneath Lincoln's feet is because the only way to build the monument was to create a system of support columns underground. To do this, workers had to essentially build a bat cave full of strong columns that would keep Lincoln sitting in his chair. This resulted in a giant cave that is still around today. What's really bizarre is that tours of the cave stopped after 9/11. Throughout the 70s and 80s, local children were taken to the cave on field trips. Today, almost nobody knows it exists, and absolutely nobody is allowed in. Number 2. The Stone in the Jefferson Memorial. The Jefferson Memorial is another iconic American landmark. While it doesn't hold any huge mysteries, there is one fascinating secret about the Jefferson Memorial that many people don't know. Anyone who visits the place will probably notice the memorial is crafted out of many different types of stones. For example, the outer stonework is Vermont Imperial Danby marble, the interior walls are Georgian marble, and there's also rock, marble, and limestone from Tennessee, Indiana, and even New England. The reason that so many different types of material were used in crafting the Jefferson Memorial was to symbolize the geographical madness of the original 13 states. Basically, it was a celebration of just how geographically diverse America was, and it's still true today. Number 1. The Resolute Desk. One of the most important American treasures is not even a monument. Believe it or not, it's a desk. Even though it's common for United States presidents to move into the White House and make their own personal changes, there's one thing that has remained the same throughout the years. I'm of course talking about the Resolute Desk, which is the desk that the president uses in the Oval Office. It's undoubtedly the most famous piece of furniture in the entire world, and its history is amazing. The Resolute Desk was built from a piece of massive ship sent out by Queen Victoria in 1852 on an Arctic rescue mission to find the lost Franklin expedition that vanished while trying to explore the Arctic. That ship was the HMS Resolute, and it became ice-locked while trying to find the others who had gone missing. It was by sheer luck that an American ship captain discovered the boat during a whaling adventure and returned the ship and its crew to the US when the ice melted. From a piece of this ship was crafted one of the most gorgeous desks in the world. The ship was repaired and sent back to England, the desk was crafted, and the United Kingdom handed it over to the United States as an act of kindness. The desk arrived in America in 1880. The president at the time was Rutherford B. Hayes, and he thought that the ornate desk looked particularly presidential. He decided to place it inside the White House study, where it stayed until 1961, when JFK placed it in the Oval Office. After JFK's assassination, the desk went on exhibition at the Smithsonian Institution until Jimmy Carter demanded its return. Since then, the desk has mainly stayed inside the Oval Office, except for one time when George H.W. Bush stuffed it in the storage room. Are there any other secrets of American icons you think we should know about? Be sure to reveal them in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you again soon for another awesome video right here on American Eye.